Even though I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects, some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it, and thanks. But telling their followers that our government cannot be allowed to control what we do and do not say on television, and that we have to stand up to it. I've been hearing...
I have to tell you something. If someone said that my daughter was a hot piece of I would put my fist through his face. Someone who would bring down the country because he doesn't win does not deserve anything, deserves nothing. He deserves nothing. He does not deserve any kind of respect.
Donald Trump's presidency is such a spectacle it practically parodies itself. Jimmy Kimmel and Cher don't have to work hard for material every day, and the Trump White House feels like an improv show happening inside a collapsing circus tent. They're not inventing jokes. They're just packaging the chaos into bite-sized comedy. Trump has turned public office into a stage performance, and Kimmel and Cher are his most enthusiastic hecklers. Half the country worries he won't follow through on his promises.
Half of us are worried Trump won't do the things he promised. The other half are worried he will do those things. I'm in the latter category. We're not even a day in. He's already done so many terrible deeds, but he's also done some fun things. Like when he said this, and I want you to listen closely here, because the question is, does he say every day we get some penis?
Every single day we get some
The people he will bring with him will put an end to any hope that women have of getting the rights that we had in Roe versus Wade. I believe they will put an end to any gay marriage. They will put an end to gay adoption. It's not gonna hurt me, I'm 70. It's not gonna do anything to me, but it's gonna do stuff to young people. And
if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Jimmy Kimmel wastes no time portraying Trump as a man more interested in producing the world's tackiest reality show than actually governing. Policies are replaced by plot twists, and leadership is swapped for catchphrases. Kimmel's humor hits hardest when he shows how Trump treats the Oval Office like a TV set camera is always rolling, applause always ready, and every scene needing a hero. And somehow, Trump still believes he's that hero. The delusion is so over the top, it's almost an art form.
Appointed chairman of the FCC by this former crusader for free speech.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple. Just like dominoes, one by one, they'll go down.
That was also in 2022.
Cher, on the other hand, brings a glamorous edge to the takedown, mocking Trump like a stage diva watching an understudy constantly miss his cues. She laughs at his obsession with dramatic entrances and the way he struts across stages as if the soundtrack of Destiny is playing just for him. But instead of Destiny, it's really just the exhausted sigh of a teleprompter operator. Cher doesn't need to exaggerate anything, she simply holds up a mirror, and the reflection is already ridiculous on its own.
loyalty, I don't think he has two moral fibers to rub together. He wants to be the king, but he doesn't want to do the work. And I mean, I can't imagine, it's like breaking news. South Korea has bombed North Korea, and President Trump comes up to the platform, into the podium, and says, what? You know, what could he possibly say? He doesn't know anything about anything. You know, I'll call my friend Vladimir and he'll tell me what to do.
Kimmel gleefully calls out Trump's constant need for validation, noting how every press conference feels more like a therapy session gone wrong. Instead of answering questions, Trump launches into monologues just to reassure himself he's still the star of the show. Kimmel ridicules the insecurity that pushes him to obsess over crowd sizes, like a mall Santa counting kids in line. It's presidential politics reimagined as a third-rate Las Vegas residency, and Kimmel knows it.
And I wonder, how did that guy turn into this guy?
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
Well, a lot of people, anybody could replace him. Guy had no talent. Kimmel had, look, he was fired, he had no talent. He's a whack job, but he had no talent. And more importantly than talent. He had no, because a lot of people have no talent, they get ratings. But he had no ratings.
Well, I do tonight.
Cher lands her punches by mocking Trump's love of over-the-top self-promotion. She compares him to someone who decorates every space like a bargain bin palace, where gold-plated toilets shout louder than any real policy win ever could. She skewers his obsession with branding, laughing at how everything from steaks to water bottles carried his name, yet none lasted in the marketplace longer than a late-night infomercial. In Cher's eyes, Trump isn't a leader at all. He's a door-to-door salesman who accidentally wandered into politics and never left.
He's an asshole. He's he's such a dangerous. I don't know how he is a candidate. He is so dangerous, and what he brings to my country, what he's awakened in my country, is bigotry and distrust and a certain kind of supremacy.
Kimmel hits his stride by poking at Trump's contradictions. He jokes about how Trump calls himself a champion of ordinary people while living a life so out of touch it might as well be happening on another planet. It's the image of a man eating fast food off silver platters, a strange mix of blue-collar pandering and gold-plated vanity. Trump supplies the irony. Kimmel just points it out. Cher jumps in on Trump's obsession with his own legend, comparing him to a magician whose tricks are painfully obvious but who still expects standing ovations for pulling coins from behind his ear. The act is exhausting, but the comedy is impossible to resist. Kimmel also tears into Trump's speeches, comparing them to drunken karaoke nights where the lyrics constantly fall out of sync. The rambling, the tangents, the made-up facts, it all plays like an endless blooper reel. Kimmel doesn't even need to write jokes. Trump's words collapse under the weight of their own absurdity.
That's what he said. Okay, we get some. Let's listen to that one more time.
Every single day we get subpoenas.
Well, that was his campaign promise, a penis in every pot. As is tradition for every incoming president, Trump has a new portrait. He posed for this menacing photo. It goes up at every post office, every airport. That spray tan scowl will be glaring at you every time a TSA worker frisks your junk from now on.
Cher amplifies the absurdity by attacking Trump's obsession with nostalgia. She laughs at how he casts himself as the savior of a golden past that never really existed, like he's trying to sell America a greatest hits album full of songs no one remembers. She tears apart the fantasy, reminding everyone that his version of greatness is less about reality and more like a fever dream stitched together from slogans, grudges, and cable news clips. Kimmel gets even harsher when tackling Trump's thin skin. He points out how a single late-night joke or unflattering headline can send him into a rage, as if being president matters less to him than being the world's most sensitive celebrity. Cher then goes straight for the jugular, mocking his obsession with crowd approval. She ridicules how he measures success not by what he achieves, but by how loud the cheers are. Every rally becomes a high school talent show where the student body president keeps begging for more applause. What makes the image stick? A man governing like a stage performer desperate for encores long after the audience has stopped caring.
In groups and he lies. He tells something, and then you go back and you see what he said, and it seems like the truth both times. He's so terrific at lying. I've never seen anybody so good. I mean, it's amazing. I could go on and on this subject forever because I'm so traumatized by him.
Kimmel doesn't hold back when it comes to Trump's nepotism circus, mocking how he turned the White House into a family business. Instead of seasoned advisors, he surrounded himself with relatives whose resumes were better. Suited for reality TV, Kimmel compares it to a sitcom where everyone gets a part regardless of talent because the casting director is dad, it's government as a family reunion, and the laugh track never stops. Cher matches his energy by roasting Trump's obsession with flattery. She paints him as a man who only wants yes men around, people who applaud every word no matter how incoherent. It's less of a cabinet and more of a fan club. Cher jokes that Trump doesn't seek expertise, just affirmation, turning his administration into a karaoke night where no one dares hit the buzzer. No matter how off-key the song gets, Kimmel twists the knife even deeper when it comes to Trump's relationship with the media. He highlights the absurdity of a man who claims to despise press coverage while constantly feeding off it like oxygen. Every insult, every headline, every late-night monologue just fuels his endless hunger for attention. Kimmel sums it up perfectly. Trump isn't at war with the media, he's addicted to it.
You almost have to feel sorry for him. He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly. He might have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now. A lot of people have been asking me if there are conditions for my return to the air, and there is one. Disney has asked me to read the following statement, and I've agreed to do it. Here we go. To reactivate your Disney Plus and Hulu account.
Kimmel wraps up the takedown by exposing the ridiculous contradictions at the heart of Trump's image. He sells himself as both victim and conqueror, underdog and king, outsider and insider all at once. Cher laughs at the impossible balancing act, mocking how Trump tries to play every role as if the contradictions will cancel each other out. Instead, they pile up into a mountain of absurdity no serious observer could overlook. They tear into his obsession with appearances too. Every event is staged like a pageant teetering on disaster. Kimmel points out how each moment feels less like presidential duty and more like a game show reveal, complete with exaggerated pauses and forced smiles. The spectacle is big, but the substance is paper thin, and they make sure everyone sees through it. Kimmel delights in dismantling Trump's social media addiction, treating his posts like the diary entries of a teenager accidentally published for the world to see. The manic energy, the desperate need for attention, the constant craving for validation, it's all pure comedy gold. Cher pushes the joke even further, comparing his online persona to a lounge singer who won't leave the stage, crooning the same off-key tune while the audience quietly sneaks out. The tragedy of leadership collapsing into a stream of needy updates becomes their sharpest and sweetest material.
The new regime has already redecorated the Oval Office. They moved in a bust of Winston Churchill, a portrait of Andrew Jackson, and this was smart. They put plastic covers on the couch in case J.D. Vance gets a little too lovey-dovey. Trump's infamous Diet Coke button is back. He's also got, this time he's got a chalupa cannon and a McNugget knob too. And he has another little button to lock the door when he hears Elon coming. Elon Musk reportedly badgered Trump into giving him an office in the West Wing. It's kind of a tough situation for Trump because on the one hand, you know he can't stand this guy. On the other hand, he needs his money. It's what they call a Melania's dilemma.
They dive into Trump's talent for distraction, revealing how every crisis seems to vanish beneath a louder spectacle. Kimmel jokes that whenever something serious is about to hit, Trump suddenly discovers a new enemy, starts a fresh feud, or launches a pointless sideshow. Cher ridicules the tactic, likening him to a magician with only one trick, pulling endless scarves from his sleeve until everyone forgets what the original act was supposed to be. The humor practically writes itself because the distraction is often more obvious than the problem it's meant to hide. Kimmel also spotlights the contradictions in Trump's idea of strength. He laughs at how Trump sells himself as tough while acting deeply fragile, treating even minor criticism like a mortal blow to his ego. Cher piles on, mocking how someone who demands to be feared often behaves like a reality show contestant begging not to be voted off. Kimmel compares his use of power to a kid showing off a toy he doesn't know how to use. While Cher expands on the image by saying he treats policies like stage props, brandishing them for applause without understanding what they do. In their hands, the presidency looks less like a position of purpose and more like a costume worn for show. And the audience can't stop laughing at how hollow it all is.
President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. He was somehow able to squeeze Colbert out of CBS. Then he turned his sights on me, and now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you were this week. We have to speak out against it.
Kimmel tears into the constant exaggerations pouring out of Trump's speeches, pointing out how every achievement is blown up far beyond reality. He paints a picture of a man who measures success only in superlatives, but rarely delivers anything close to the hype. Cher runs with the joke, saying Trump's greatest accomplishment might just be his ability to present ordinary actions as world-changing victories. The humor lands because his ego always outruns the truth by a mile. They also peel back his obsession with enemies, noting how Trump seems to need a steady supply of adversaries to keep his act going. Kimmel mocks the rotating cast of villains, journalists, critics, rivals, each introduced like the latest cartoon bad guy. Cher builds on the bit, comparing him to a soap opera writer desperately inventing new conflicts to keep the ratings up. The comedy comes from the predictability. Every week brings the same recycled drama in slightly different packaging. Kimmel especially enjoys ripping apart Trump's warped idea of loyalty, showing how it's less about trust or principle and more about blind obedience. Yet, even his most devoted allies often find themselves discarded the moment they stop clapping loudly enough.
Today I am very excited, I'm very proud, I'm exhilarated even, because from here on we aren't just following the Donald Trump drama in New York, we are part of it now. We are part of the official record of the people versus Donald Trump. I will explain in a moment, but suffice it to say that when Ryan Murphy makes the 9-part miniseries about this for Fubo, I will be in it. I would assume someone like George Clooney or maybe Chris Hemsworth will be playing me. Guillermo, you will be...
Kimmel jokes about how Trump demands absolute loyalty, but never gives it back, turning every ally into a disposable prop once they've outlived their usefulness. Cher sharpens the blow by comparing him to a director constantly casting and recasting roles, caring less about who's on stage than about whether they clap on cue. The revolving door of sycophant and exiles becomes yet another ridiculous chapter in the ongoing farce. They also skewer his obsession with optics in foreign affairs. Kimmel highlights the bizarre photo ops that often stand in for real diplomacy, mocking them as staged photo shoots with no depth. Cher piles on, saying the pomp and pageantry look like cheap theater, with Trump playing world statesman as if he's still filming a reality TV episode. The humor hits hard because the gap between appearance and actual results is impossible to miss. Their sharpest punch comes when they tackle Trump's inflated self-image. Kimmel roasts his desperate need to be remembered as a historical giant destined to reshape America's story. Cher destroys the illusion by comparing him to an actor hopelessly miscast, stumbling through lines that don't suit him. The comedy cuts deepest here because it doesn't have to invent anything, it simply highlights the absurd mismatch between Trump's ambition and reality, exposing him as a caricature of leadership rather than the icon he imagines.